Hey everybody, welcome to Fandomly Speaking.
Each week we're speaking randomly about fandom. I'm Liza.
I'm Melissa. And this week we are getting random about the Supernatural fandom.
And just fair warning, there probably will be spoilers if you haven't seen all 15 seasons.
Absolutely. And also our conversation will go to places around mental health, aging, and experiencing life as autistic women. So we're going all over the place. So, hi. Hey, Liza.
Hi, Melissa.
We did it. We did the introduction. We got through it. Yay. We can do hard things. What'd you do this week?
I worked all week. That's it. I did get to go see my toy on the shelf for the first time. So that was super exciting to me. We've had the squishy maker out for 2 years, right? And I've never seen it on the shelf. So I got to go to Barnes & Noble and it was on the shelf and I got to take pictures and be a weirdo in the store. It was exciting. But you went on vacation, so I'm
I went
jealous.
on vacation. I went to go visit. My friends go to Myrtle Beach for 3 months every winter because I'm of an age where people snowbird.
Yes.
I got a hole-in-one at miniature golf for the first time in my entire life.
Golf clap. Good job, Melissa.
So otherwise you just worked and saw a dream come true, a product of yours on a retail shelf.
That's all. Nothing else.
Just the usual week for life.
I mean, I didn't get to go play putt-putt, but...
I know. I had a good time. I did. It was very, very nice and relaxing. In Geeking this week, did you do any geeking this week?
I'm just a geek all the time, every week. You know.
I know. So I had a lot of time to read. I finished the A Court of Thorns and Roses series.
The whole thing, all the way through book 5.
All the way through.
Where it's finished through. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's finished too, and hopefully she doesn't George R.R. Martin us. And other than that first book being a real stinker, I love it.
Yes.
Did you read the last book yet?
I read all of them, and it's really the worst if you go back, because then you have to read all through that first book again, and you're just like, oh, girl, I can't deal with you.
I know.
Again
I'm thinking maybe when
this.
I do my reread, I just skip that.
I did, actually. I'm lying. I said I didn't do anything. I finished the book, the 6th book in Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive. And for some reason, all this time I have thought, oh, this is the final book, you know, like those books, I listen to them on Audible. They're over 60 hours long a piece. And so I'm like, oh, this is the end. And the whole story, this is the end. And I got to the last 15 minutes of the book and I was like, this is not the end. So I got to the end of this long 6-book thing, and he has a little blurb. He comes in at the end and he goes, thanks for reading it, and we're going through our 10-book series. I'm like, what the hell? No.
What?
So I got 4 more books to wait on.
More.
But I got to wait on him to write.
Like, I thought the last book of the story of Nesta and Cassian, which was absolutely my favorite of all of the books.
So good. The mental health stuff in that book is so good.
So good. So good. So we'll talk about that on a different podcast. But so I did that, and then Sunrise on the Reaping came out this week.
I know. It's in my TBR, but I haven't gotten it yet.
I started it last night. I'm going to try and read it this weekend so that I don't get too spoiled. But it's good.
My daughter finished her first read through of Hunger Games yesterday, so I'm proud mom. Okay.
What do you think?
She liked it. Yeah, of course. She loved it.
Of course. She's my kid. Of course she liked it. Yeah. So Supernatural.
I think
look at your shirt. Look at your shirt and look at my mug. I got this at Bass Pro Shops this week.
Oh, that's amazing. My mind is so nerdy that I literally thought that was a Supernatural, like, branded mug. Like, it didn't even occur to me that there other people buy moves for some other reason.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, this is this Sam. He says, so get this.
So get this. So I was looking through the lore.
Yeah.
I love how he became really fluent in Latin.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
so smart. He went to college for a whole like semester. Of course he could.
Well, I think he did finish college. He was going to go to law school. So I mean, if he were pre-med, the Latin may have made more sense. His law, I mean, I don't know that you have to take Latin, but anyway.
I think that Supernatural was how we first realized that the other was a big nerd. Like, I think we started to, you like Supernatural too?
Yeah.
That's kind of how we realized that we were on the same page.
I think so, because I started sharing stuff and then you started sharing stuff with me and then, yeah. But I didn't actually get into Supernatural when it first started.
Me neither.
I started watching it on Netflix, I think, to catch up before the next season started, because for like the millionth time, somebody was like, how are you not watching Supernatural?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I had a kid. I had a job. I got sick. There's a lot going on. And then I think I joined in on season 9 or 10 is when I started watching
on
it,
TV.
Like, on TV with everybody else.
Yeah.
When did you come on board?
So I remember, was it on the WB first? Is that what it was?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember I would catch an episode here and there, but I never sat and watched it every week. So it was like I knew what it was. I didn't watch it. Then when I lived overseas, I met who would become one of my very best friends. And she and I have very similar tastes. Just we like all the same stuff. And she loved Supernatural. I'm like, well, if she likes Supernatural, I would probably like Supernatural. So finally, it was 2019 when I sat down to watch it for the first time. And so I binged the entire 14 seasons that were out in like a month. So I was planning on just, watching this neat little show and taking a few sips from the cup. And I ended up like with this trauma slushy big gulp style to the face, like drink up, Liza, drink up. Yes. It was like an emotional hostage. Yeah, it was like an emotional hostage situation. I couldn't stop.
No, you just need, and it just keeps going, and you're like, oh my God, it's going to keep going. I always thought it was interesting that season 5, which originally, like, Kripke figured that was going to be the end.
Yes.
So that means that the end of the series was basically Sam goes to hell. Yeah. And Dean goes on with his life. Was that the ending that he planned? Because that ending would suck. So, Sam, Dean, Cass or Crowley? Well,
when I would hit it in my 20s, like here an episode here or there in my 20s, I was a Sam girl. I liked, he was like sensitive, and I'm like, oh, that was me. In my 40s, it's Dean. Yeah. This emotionally repressed kind of guy. Yeah. Obviously. In perimenopause, it's Crowley. Because I relate so much more to him. I'm like, yeah, he's just exasperated with everyone all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that tracks.
So do you think maybe when we finally get into our golden years, we're going to be like, Castiel, he's my man.
He's the guy. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Crowley's like a big mood.
He is. And I love him. And I hate that there was some stuff that went on behind the scenes. Like Misha was just on the Supernatural Then and Now podcast like last week. And he was talking about season 7, how they basically told him, you're not coming back.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he was out doing pilot season and all that stuff. And then somebody upstairs, like in the C-suite, I guess at the CW at that point, was like, what do you mean Castiel's gone? No, bring him back! I felt bad when they disappeared Crowley in the apocalypse world.
Right?
Like, no, he's coming back, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I'm like, well, he'll just come back next season. Yeah. I was sorely disappointed.
How did we end up so sucked into this thing when we weren't there from the beginning?
I don't have a deep reason, because I just got invested with the binge, but 2019 was like a super hard year for me. So had I only known what 2020 to 2025 was really going to be like, I had no clue. But 2019, and you remember, we could have a whole podcast about what was going on in 2019 for YouTube, and it was just awful. And so personally, professionally, it was just a rough year. But Supernatural like rewired my brain. It gave me something to like look forward to, and I was so excited to watch these little episodes, every day, to sit down and get to the next one. And it was just at a time when I really needed it that year. It was like the first thing that year I got excited about, and then I think it is such a huge fandom. It made me part of something again.
Yes, I think that's what keeps me still engaged. We're 5 years out. The absolutely disastrous finale, which will probably end up on the podcast that we will be doing in the future about really bad finales. There are some stinkers out there. There are some great shows with absolutely horrifically bad finales.
Yeah.
Worst. Supernatural being one of them, in my opinion.
I don't know how you end a series that nobody wants to see end.
I know. That's the hard part. And I think in that instance, with the Supernatural finale, the problem was the finale they had written would have been awesome. Everybody in heaven going back to the roadhouse and you bring everybody back was the plan. And then COVID hit and you had all of these stupid, just to even get it filmed was like just such a Herculean thing. They all had to go into a bubble, and so you couldn't bring everybody back.
Right.
I almost wish they had just said, oh, can we just wait a little while longer so we can do it right?
Yeah.
In my head, there's a different finale.
You live in the alternate world.
Mm-hmm. I think I got into Supernatural because, first of all, I love anything spooky and supernatural. So it is kind of weird that I never got into it. But then once I found it, I found like that whole recurring theme of found family.
Yep.
And of also families that super dysfunctional but trying to make it work type stuff, which I, really related to on a personal level.
I think that's why if you ever watch the long videos of like bloopers, it looks like the whole show is just so much fun to make. It just looks like everybody's genuinely enjoying themselves together.
And that carries through in the conventions. That everybody is just, we're all in this together. We're all a great big family. And we're spending $600 to sit in these seats for the weekend.
Right. I haven't been to a convention, like a supernatural convention. They come to Dragon Con, which they do here. So that I've been to cons where they are there, but not supernatural specific conventions.
Yeah. Do you want to hear my story about when I met Jensen and Jared?
I do. I'm jealous because they have not come to, like, all the rest of the Supernatural cast has come, but not J Squared.
So I went for my first convention was here in New Jersey for my 50th birthday. Mm-hmm. And so I got gold tickets. So with the gold ticket, you get to do the autograph on Sunday morning with Jared and Jensen. And then they do their like little gold panel. I have the book with essays from all the different actors called Family Don't End in Blood. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, I want everybody to autograph that.
Right.
Yeah. I'm waiting online. I get up to Jared and I wanted him to sign his essay.
Yeah.
I just sort of, I autism spaghettied on him in some format. And then I said that the convention was my 50th birthday present to myself. Okay. This is what Jared Padalecki did. Are you ready? You have to be looking at me for this.
I am.
Look at me. Pay attention because he's, I think he's lefty. Attention. So he's, doing this. And I'm like, it's my 50th birthday present to myself. You're 50? No way.
Aww.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And he's like, no. And he was so shocked. And then Robin was next to me. I couldn't talk to Jensen. Like, I think otherwise I was just like, I didn't sign my thing. Oh my God. Like you said last week, why are they so much better looking in person?
You, folks at home, you don't understand. You don't.
But I want to be clear. I'm not better looking in person. It's not famous men.
But it's so strange. It's so weird. Like if you have a crush on someone you've seen in movies or TV and you meet them in person, they are 10 times better looking in person. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I met Jensen first, so I was still like, and
that was when he said to Robin, right? He talked to Robin,
yeah. So Robin's like, and she couldn't think of anything to say, and she's just like, you're awesome. And he was like, no, you're awesome. And that was it. That was like, we're done.
Did they scrape you off the floor and take you out in a puddle? I met everybody else, just not them. Well, Misha and the boys weren't there, but everybody else, and they're all amazing. I embarrassed myself that day, though.
How did you embarrass yourself? Please share.
And actually, this story's really funny to me.
The tea.
Well, the story's really funny to me now in retrospect. So I was going to get everybody's autograph, and this was on what they call Celebrity Row, and it's a room where all the celebrities are in, and in order to go in it, you have to show your badge, and you have to go in there. Well, there's no, like, ATM or anything in there, and all the tables only take cash. So you have to know who you're going to get an autograph from, and you have to take that amount of money in. So I had a certain amount of money. I knew whose tables I was going to. So I was going up to meet DJ, Garth. right?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna get his,
I love Garth.
and I had all my stuff, and I had like kind of reached down to get my stuff out of my bag, and I looked up, and there was a guy standing here, like in front of kind of DJ, all catty corner to DJ's table, and I was like, "Oh, are you in line for DJ?" He said, "No." And I stood up, and it was Ty Olson, and I went, "Holy shit!"
Oh my God.
I mean, just in his face, and he was like, "Excuse me." I was like, "I'm so sorry."
I'm so sorry. Did I just yell helly shit to your face?
Yeah, like first off, I asked him if he was waiting in line to get DJ's signature, and then
Yeah. He's like, no, I don't have to wait in line for him.
And then I awkwardly stood at his table because I didn't have money to get his autograph, so I just stood at his table like, "Hi," like a weirdo, and he was like, "All right, go ahead." I went to see DJ, and I told him, I was like, "I just asked Ty if he was in line for your table." He was like, "He probably was. He's fine." And so now, knowing 5-6 years later that they're married or engaged, that's hilarious to me.
Oh
but
my
oh God, I was mortified at that time. Just an idiot. I still think about it. Like, geez.
I know. I told you guys last week that I am so bad when I meet famous people. It's better that I don't. It's just better. That's just better.
Did you meet Kim, Jody?
We went to the pajama party twice. We did it with Kim Rhodes, and Brianna. So Jody and Donna. And the second one we went to was Jody, Donna, and Mary. So Sam Smith was there. And we were all in our pajamas at the hotel. Cool. And we played Cards Against Humanity.
Oh my God.
With them. Yeah.
Kim is the most
super awesome.
Yeah, she's just the most beautiful, genuine person out of everybody that I met that day. She, like, she's held my hand. She was like, "So let me talk to you in your face, in your eyes like this. Like, you're the only person here." And she's just so insanely gorgeous. It's like, okay.
So amazing.
Yeah.
You know, they have a podcast. Brianna and Jody. Yeah. The Wayward Podcast.
Wayward Podcast. Yep.
Yes. So John Winchester, good father or bad father?
While I was watching, I didn't really have strong feelings about John one way or the other. He's just a terrible father. He's just a terrible father, and he doesn't deserve all of their devotion. I mean, that was just my whole take on John. He's like the root of all their trauma. It's like, "Hey, Dean, when did all of your trauma start?" "Oh, I don't know, when my dad tossed me my baby brother like a football and said, 'Take care of it.'" Like,
and then
crux of it.
that could have been a trauma that Dean could have worked through.
Yeah.
If the subsequent years of his life had not been his dad devolving into an alcoholic obsession with being a hunter and finding the demon, and then just leaving them for days on end in crappy roadside motels. Like,
I know
Christmas
that
episodes.
They were considered Gen X, but come on, John Winchester. I mean, I know we all like raised
even
ourselves,
our parents wouldn't have left us in a motel.
God.
So I think there's the argument, well, he was traumatized, but as an adult and a parent, you have to kind of try to work through your trauma and not visit it upon your children. And so I do judge him. But then heavily. Then they bring Mary back, which I'm still...
my thoughts were, I thought it was Amara that brought her back, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that? Okay.
I
thought in that episode, I thought that bringing Mary back would have been great for an episode so that the boys could get closure. Only. Like, she lets them see Mary, and then we close that door. Bringing her back, in my opinion, was unfair to everyone. Like, it was unfair to them to then have to get to know this mom that they had kind of idolized and didn't know who she was.
Who is now like the same age as them. As Dean,
and
almost.
It was unfair for her to come back 2 decades after she died, and now her kids are grown, and she doesn't know how to fit in this world and who she is and it was just unfair all around. It kind of left me with a gross feeling.
And I think the writers really struggled to then write Mary.
Yeah.
Because
it was like the struggle was for everyone.
Yeah, it's like we're all struggling with this idea. What you described was, I think that was the 300th episode where they did like the Thanksgiving where John comes back.
Yeah.
And for one night they're all together. That would have been good.
Perfect. Yeah. Closure. I think closure, not this big open more trauma with her.
Yeah.
With all that she had to deal with.
And then Bobby's like their replacement dad, more of a father than John ever was.
Yes. Like,
and
that
then
was all the feels every single time he would tell one or the other and how proud he was. I'm like, yes, that's right. Tell him more often.
Yeah.
I loved him so much.
Oh, Bobby was great. I was really bummed that they did that to them, that they took Bobby away.
Mm-hmm. That was another time. Every time they took someone away, that played with my emotions, especially the way I watched it, because they would always bring everybody back.
So Bobby was a ghost for a while, and then he finally
Right.
left. And the scene, like the last thing that he remembers of them, the thing that makes him happy about them, is them getting ready to watch a movie, and they're arguing about popcorn and Twizzlers and which movie they're going to watch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Other people that they killed off that I was really ticked off about was Ellen and Joe and the whole Roadhouse.
Yeah, when you sent me like kind of a list of topics and I saw that, I'm like, who? Because I was watching and then I looked up, I was like, oh yeah, and it pissed me off all over again because I'm like, they constantly killed off all the good women. Like if you're a woman going on Supernatural, just you're in danger, girl. Be careful.
Not gonna make it.
You're not gonna last long.
Rowena almost made it. Almost made it. And she goes and throws herself into the pit and does this amazing sacrificial dive. But yeah, and I love that the final moments of Ellen and Joe where they're in the hardware store and Joe's dying from the gut shot or the stabbing or whatever, and she's like, "I've got you, baby girl. I've got you, baby girl," and I completely fall apart every time I watch it.
Yeah, they just all the good female characters just didn't make it through.
Nope. If you're lucky, you maybe got brought back. Like, what was Sam's not girlfriend's name?
Girlfriend?
No, God. I know it all the time because I always joke, is the blurry woman in the background in the final episode, is that his wife? And is it her? What is her name? She's the girl she's the hunter who she's the deaf hunter. What was her name?
Shoshana's character?
Shoshana's character. I can't remember that girl's name right
now.
We're horrible. We're horrible.
This is what it's like when you
they just kill people.
Right.
If we weren't recording a podcast, I'd be whipping out her name like that. We'll get into the Men of Letters era where they have the bunker, which was kind of cool. But
the bunker part was cool. For me, the Men of Letters arc dragged, especially when they brought in the British Men of Letters. I'm like, all right. It was probably my least favorite arc. I liked all the new lore that they brought in, and I liked all the American side of what had been going on, but all the rest of it was just kind of, it was a bit too much for me.
Very draggy, the Men of Letters. And then the bunker was a cool idea, but also for them to keep going back to Kansas and then getting to like all of these places and then having to go back to the bunker because now they have a place they live.
Yes, yeah.
I'm like, that sucks, you know?
Yeah, no, that also was my favorite part. That's my favorite part of any show where they're like, we got 1,000 miles away in a few hours. We're fine. Everybody's fresh as a daisy and no problem. We're just going to head back there when we're done.
Yeah. So God and Amara.
God and Amara. For me, it was after everything else they'd already been through, it was kind of hilarious that God was like their final boss. It was like, well, you know, they had nowhere else to go. And the whole God is a huge dick was just so funny to me. I don't know.
And then Jack. So we get our Nephilim. I do like the actor who plays Jack, and I think they did some interesting stuff there, but that was all like, that felt very Cousin Oliver.
Did it really? That's never occurred to me, and that whole...
It's when the show is going downhill, so we have to bring in a little boy character named Oliver, only in this case his name is Jack.
That's super funny. What a good Gen X reference. I've not ever heard anybody say that about Jack, but that's really funny.
God.
Do people say that? Because that's so funny to me.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, wait, he's staying. Oh God, he's like a recurring character.
Yeah.
Jesus. And Dean was so awful to him.
He was. It took a while for Dean to come around.
He was so mean to Jack, and Jack was just like this little baby deer.
Didn't
understand his power.
Born yesterday. Yep.
That was a weird season finale because I think like the last scene is Sam like going to try to find, well, she gave birth and she's dead. Where's the baby? And then he goes into this room and there's this like just naked, fully grown like 18-year-old, and he looks up and his eyes go boing, and we're like, wait, he's all grown up already? Ooh, no wonder why she died. That's and I didn't even write that on our notes. I totally forgot about Jack. That's how much I love Jack. I keep forgetting he exists. And then at the end, he's God. So I don't even understand the whole God arc of the last season, quite honestly.
Yeah, what happened? with
It's
the
so
last,
stupid.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to be honest. It's just like, oh.
I really did like so much of what they did with Chuck and God and him
Yes.
writing, and I loved Kevin Tran. I loved all that stuff. But yeah, the way it came together at the end, I was also like, yeah, I've watched too much Supernatural. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin Tran is amazing, and Mrs. Tran. Mm-hmm. When
Yeah,
she
that's
goes
some of my
hardcore and
favorite parts of the show.
she gets the tattoo. Yeah, Kevin Tran, and he just keeps like, he's like, I'm in AP Physics. He's like, I'm Kevin Tran. I'm in AP Physics. And then after Kevin was gone, they had Donatello.
I forgot about that. That's right. I
Just give him hot wings and everything's fine.
Yeah,
everything's
right. I totally forgot about that. But see, I missed Kevin, so I was bitter.
I know. Me too. Kevin was the best prophet of God. Mm-hmm. I think at Lucifer by Mark Pellegrino.
I love Mark Pellegrino so much that he just is Lucifer to me. And so when I looked up what, about Rick, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And that was
Vince
fun.
Vincenti.
Yeah, I remember
they were
liking those episodes. The episodes were fun, but Mark is Lucifer to me.
I was just worried that we were never going to get Mark back.
Mark was just so funny to me in that role. It felt like, to me, I don't have a clue that I'm right here. This is just what it felt like. And it felt like this with Misha as well. I felt like they wrote these characters and gave them these lines and had no idea how hilarious that actor was going to make those lines. Yeah. I mean, he just had me rolling. The best gifs are of Mark and his lines. They were so funny.
Yeah.
Misha was the same way.
And Crowley, too. That's another one. Like,
well, that's just Mark in general in every role he plays.
Once you pick Mark Sheppard to play the role,
right,
he's going to devour every line.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. Right. Everything. Because I've watched him on so many different things. Like he was on Battlestar Galactica, and he was on Warehouse 13, and
Doctor Who.
Every time Doctor Who, yes, every time he plays a role, it's so good.
I met Mark Sheppard as well, and it was the thing where you go in for the really quick picture side by side, and it was Mark and Ruth together. So I went and got a picture with them together. And have you done that where you go in and get the picture like real quick?
Yes. I have Jody and Donna. So I have my friend Robin and I with Jody and Donna. And then we have us with Misha. And I think those are the only pictures I did.
And it's actually kind of stressful. It's not like a fun time where you get to meet them. And for some reason, I don't know if they do this everywhere, they make us leave our purse. They made you leave your bag outside with everyone else. Like you have to set your purse with everyone else. So I didn't want to leave my wallet. So I took my wallet out. And I was just going to go in and grab a picture. Took my wallet out, left my purse. I walked in and Mark goes, babe, I don't need your money. Put that away. And I was like, okay. He's like, no. I don't need any money. Put your wallet up. I was like, okay.
Nice. He's like, it's not that kind of photo. You paid way more for this before.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Those photo ops were expensive, which is why I never did J2. But yeah.
They are expensive. The only one I really shelled out cash for was David Tennant.
I would have done
cash for David. It was worth it. Totally worth it. And actually,
really well.
I have to show you whenever you call my phone. This is how I have always had your picture in my phone.
Oh my god!
That's always been your picture. Yeah, Rowena comes up when you call me.
That's great.
That's my picture with her. Yeah.
Me Rowena too, is awesome. The super awesome coven.
She's also like awesome. 4 foot tall. Did you know that?
Yes.
When I walked into that meeting, I'm like, holy crap, you're so small.
Well, I think she was a ballerina.
Well, yeah,
I think that was her original. Oh my gosh, she's so sweet, and she and God have had a baby together.
I know. The Queen of Hell
and God had a baby.
Oh.
You think
more
of
family.
all the relationships that came out of that show.
Right.
You've got Rob Benedict and
Ruth.
So Ruth. Yeah, Ruth Connell. And then you've got Tyler and DJ. Mm-hmm. And then,
which is funny because they never met on the show.
Isn't that weird? They just met at the con. Well, the cons have brought a lot of people
introduced them at the cons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's my doing.
Like the whole.
I did that.
You did that. See,
yeah, I met.
Yeah, it's all about you. Yeah, they were talking about that strange girl that said, "Holy
the weirdo
shit." She cursed it, man.
Yelled him.
Jared and Genevieve.
Mm-hmm. And Danielle was on the show too, wasn't she?
Danielle was on afterwards. They were on another show. I think they were on One Tree Hill together. I don't know if they were on a show together or they just met. I don't know. I have to look up the Danielle Jensen story. Okay, now big question.
Okay,
are you ready? Okay,
I'm ready.
So we remember Lisa. So we think Sam died, right?
Oh God. Yeah.
So Sam goes, "Woo! I got him, and he goes into the drink there, and he goes to hell, but then immediately comes back, soulless Sam. But in the meantime, Dean goes on, and so he goes back to Lisa, the girl, the woman,
The
who
yoga
said,
instructor.
didn't she tell her friends he was the best night of her life?
Yeah.
And anyway, so Ben, when he first reconnects with Lisa at some point in there, Ben is pretty much exactly the same age as when
That one
he
night.
and Lisa hooked up.
Yeah.
That one night. But she insists that Dean is not Ben's father.
Right.
But the
Now,
kid's dressed like Dean.
Yeah, he met him at like his birthday party or something, right? Yeah,
Yep.
that was the first time.
So what do we think? Was Ben his
I don't
son?
know. I mean, if not, why put it in there?
Yeah.
And if so, why not let it go further? I don't know.
I don't know. And then they bring them back together, and then they do that whole thing where they give Ben and Lisa amnesia so they never remember that Dean was a part of their life to protect them, which is like another to your heart for him.
Yeah. It's the whole Donna and Doctor Who thing all over again. I can't stand it. I can't stand that. For me, it's just all still part of the trauma with Dean. He just never gets... And Sam, too. They never let Sam... That was the funniest part. It was funny and terrible. They never let him have a girlfriend in the whole show.
Yeah.
And Dean was not able to hold her. I'm like, why do you do this to these guys?
5 hours later, Eileen! That's her name! The hunter. And then Sam reconnects with her. She comes back from the dead in a bathtub.
I just know that there's people typing. It was Eileen.
So many people right now are just like, Eileen! It's
That's
Eileen!
right.
How could you forget her name? Yeah, I think she was the girl far off in the distance that we can't see, the blurry girl. And
Well, I
they
hope
just couldn't
so.
show us Eileen because of COVID. Now, if we were in the AI days that we are in now, we would have been able to AI some Eileen into some of that footage with like little Dean in the overalls.
Yeah.
Maybe if it hadn't been COVID, we could have given Sam something better than a Party City old man wig.
Stop it.
Come on, that wig on old man Sam is horrifying.
In 2020, we could have done better.
Soulless Sam. Hot or not?
For me, Soulless Sam's uncomfortable. You know, Soulless Sam he's not supposed to be soulless. You know, that's what I said.
Right.
My 20-somethings loved Sam because he was like a sensitive guy.
Yeah.
But he's not supposed to be soulless, so it just made me uncomfortable. Demon Dean, on the other hand, is a whole different story.
You got a little bit of the vapors when you said Demon Dean.
So the best gift sets on Tumblr, the best edits have come from Demon Dean. Still to this day, in the year of our Lord 2025, if I'm scrolling and I come across a Demon Dean edit, I'm sat.
Yep.
I'm like, all right. And people in my family are like, why is that song playing so long? I'm like, mind your business. I'm working.
Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. I'm working. It's research.
He was perfect as Demon Dean. Soulless Sam is uncomfy.
Soulless Sam, you know, the only reason I think that people are like, oh, Soulless Sam is so hot is because, first of all, he was a little bit of a hoe. A little bit of a man-hoe.
Yeah.
And he did the whole shirtless chin-up thing, and we never saw those boys shirtless.
Yeah, so I told you before we even started filming, I was like, season 4 is my favorite season. And that's how it started off, so you take what you will from that.
Yeah. From what I understand back in the day, that the fans used to get really pissed off if the boys did have a love interest.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And so that was kind of, I guess, why they didn't do that very often. So we're going to endeavor to have repeating segments because it's a podcast and apparently we're supposed to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Supernatural, what aged like milk?
What do you think?
I think maybe a little bit of Dean's behavior towards women, his like little bit of a pickup culture thing in the early seasons.
Yeah, I have a theory about that. Like his slutty behavior. Mm-hmm. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like especially any show in either the late 90s or early 2000s, it was like you had to have at least one character that was like that. Like Joey on Friends, Barney on How I Met Your Mother. There's got to be one character that's just awful to women and all they care about is sex. And it didn't, especially over the season, it didn't even make sense for Dean at all. But they just kept up with it.
There's the scene when the first time they meet the trickster, And he goes into Dean's, and there's the whole cherry pie go-go girl. There was a little too many go-go girl. Yeah, there was that.
I was always thinking, you know, they had the flannel shirts, cherry pie, Dean sluttiness. It was always kind of back here while I was watching it. Like, it was never like the forefront of my mind. It was like back there.
Yeah.
And so there was like a scene in one where he popped up at the very beginning in the backseat of Baby with like a woman that he'd been with overnight. And I was like, jump scare. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's so strange. Like, it didn't fit how I had been watching and seeing them the whole entire time.
The other thing that I think aged like really sour milk was they had this torture table in, was it supposed to be hell?
With the women.
Yeah, they did it to Ruby, and then later on they did it to Meg, but they had them like on an operating table type thing, and they were naked except for a leather strap across their boobs and across the bottom, and then they're like slicing at them with knives and stuff, and it was so unnecessarily sexual that I was just like, why is this on Supernatural? This is so not what we're used to.
Right.
Like, you do realize that it's mostly women watching this show.
And I don't know if they did realize that.
Please make sure you put in your comments down below what you think aged like milk on Supernatural, because I think a lot of things, but I think the boys also changed over the years too, which kind of helped. Like, we almost see them evolve as men a little bit.
Grow up a little bit.
And then when we get Jody and Donna, when we have Mary, as much as we have issues with Mary, when we have women who can kick ass without being sexual.
Yeah, like Charlie as well.
Oh my God, Charlie! I forgot to put Charlie on the list of things to talk about.
Another female character I'm still pissed that got killed twice.
Oh God, cry.
Yep.
Oh God, when they kill her. And then she finally finds love, right? Alternate universe, Charlie finds love and then gets killed again.
Right. Correct. That is correct.
Yeah, but I love Charlie's introduction. When she's dancing to Walking on Sunshine, and she's like all cool and everything, and then she gets on the glass elevator and she's like, because I dance.
Right.
So other projects that Jensen, Jared, Misha, I haven't seen Mark Shepard in anything new lately.
No, me neither.
No,
not in any
strange.
Like,
I have to go check out BBC America because he was the voice of BBC America.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked. So Big Sky was a weird show. That show was trying to find itself and eventually got canceled after Jensen's season. But Jensen, the character that Jensen played in Big Sky, it's worth watching that last season just because he's so different than Dean. Oh. And it shows you that Jensen can play a softer, emotionally aware, emotionally available person, which he never got to do.
Yeah.
You know? Because he was Dean, and then he was Soldier Boy, who is like the least emotionally available.
Yeah, right. I haven't watched any. It's something about COVID. I just stopped watching very much TV. And so I haven't watched any of their projects other than The Boys. And I haven't finished all of The Boys, but I've watched, that's the only one. So I haven't even I didn't even watch Gotham. I haven't watched Walker.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Big Sky. I'm a terrible fan.
I love The Boys. It's brutal. Sometimes it's like way too kind of for me on some things.
It's a lot.
Whether it's the gore or the sex or the
gore is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But it was awesome to see Jensen play Soldier Boy. And then in the last season, we didn't talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan at all because we were too busy bashing
John
Winchester. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is someone who is not aging like milk. He's aging like fine wine.
Yes, and he's very good at playing characters that people love to hate, and they love him to hate him.
Negan.
Negan. Yeah.
See, I didn't watch, but I
didn't either. But like I said, I live around here in Walking Dead country, and they love him around here.
Yes, they love them some Negan. And he was at my 50th birthday present in New Jersey. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was there, and he doesn't do a lot of the cons. So Walker, I tried.
I never watched it.
It was so boring. I'm sorry. I just I just couldn't. I had to stop. And then I watched like a couple of episodes of the Gotham Knights show, and I was like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to last.
I'm surprised I haven't watched it because my husband's a huge like DC and Batman fan. He likes all that stuff. So I'm surprised that I didn't watch that.
It didn't work, which is why I think it didn't get renewed.
Look at your babies.
These are my babies. These are my plushies.
Hey, look at your babies.
I got them at the Supernatural convention.
Yeah, you did.
I got a Dean, and I got a Sam, and I got a Castiel.
So cute.
He's even got his he's got his wings though.
Oh
my
God.
His little trench coat, and they're
so
adorable.
Cute.
So we would like to do a weekly top 10 of things, but we may not always be able to think of 10 or 5 and 5 from each of us. Instead of a top 10, let's just pretend.
Yeah.
That we can't count. So Liza, what are some of your favorite episodes of Supernatural?
I told you that my favorite episode is one nobody talks about. At least I've never heard anybody talk about it, but I just loved this episode, and I don't know what that says about me. And I think that it's called either fanfic or fanfiction. It's the one where it's the musical.
Yes, that is a great episode.
It's the high school musical episode. Yeah.
Yes,
God,
single
I love that
man
episode.
tier.
Yes,
That's the single man tier. That is great. I forgot that. I love it. When they sing "Carry On," it's actually a little emotional.
It is.
Then the cool little cameo from God at the end, and we don't know yet that he's God.
Yes. Right.
So you're just at the end of that episode. You're like, why is
Chuck there? Right.
Another episode that it's not so much because of what happens in the episode, but it's because it was one of they did a lot of experimental filming. Like CW gave them a lot of latitude, and they did the episode called Baby.
Yes,
and
that's such
everything, the entire episode is filmed from inside the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the one where he's like, is it a vampire or werewolf? And he's like, werepire, we're going to call it a werepire, but it's not a werepire.
Right.
And it was such a, I love it when people take a big shot at filming something differently.
Yeah, I think that's a big episode. A lot of people love that one. That's a good one. And we just talked about, what is it? Is it Mystery Spot? The Groundhog Day episode?
Yes, Mystery Spot.
I love that episode. I liked all those like kind of goofy, weird episodes. The Scooby-Doo episode and the French Mistake episode. All those episodes.
Scooby-Doo was just really cool. That was so cool. And Velma like really wanted Sam badly.
And I told you that I watched this because my friend, my best friend, she loves it. And I'm typing her, I'm like, they are Scooby-Doo. She was like, I was waiting for you to get there. I was waiting for you to
like, you finally got there.
What the heck's happening right now?
Yeah. That was so cool. It was so good. One that I don't remember what the entire episode is about ever. It's the end of the episode that gets me, and it's called Heaven and Hell. And it's the one, after Dean comes back from hell, people keep trying to ask him, and he's like, I don't remember. But you can see, he's drinking more than ever. He's struggling so hard. Yeah. And then at the end of that episode, he tells Sam about the torturing and how for 30 years, because he was in hell for 30 years, he refused. God. He said no. And then he couldn't take it anymore. And he said yes.
Yeah.
And he started torturing. And the tears...
So much, yeah.
And from what I understand from the podcast, Supernatural Then and Now, is that Jensen went in his trailer and he told the director, he got himself in the space he needed to be in, and he's like, we got to get this because I've got 2 shots in me. Like, that's the most, like, to do it and to do this the way we need to do it, we've got to get it because I'm not going to be able to keep doing this to myself.
Right.
Obviously, Swan Song.
A Swan Song, of course.
Which, of course, brings us, babies in there again. And the thing I love about Swan Song, and everybody loves it, and everybody's probably already said this 1,000 times, but the whole thing where Chuck is writing the story. Mm-hmm. And, it starts out by, it all started, and da-da-da-da-da, when, from the time when babies built, and the little army men. And...
What was the episode where... they're in the hospital, and that's where the whole pudding thing comes from.
Oh, yes, where they go to the mental hospital. Yeah. I don't remember. But, oh, God, that one is so good. And I just read somewhere very, very recently that originally the pudding line was supposed to be Sam. And then Jensen and Jared were like, you got these backwards.
Of course.
Sam should be saying
Doesn't
whatever the
make sense.
serious thing is.
Oh
And
my
Dean should be the
God.
one yelling pudding, so they swapped lines. And it's like, God, how many times do you see that gif is everywhere?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's appropriate for so many things, though.
She was like, pudding!
Yes.
Love it. Yeah. That one's, there's so many. The French Mistake, obviously everybody loves that one. Changing Channels is the one where Sam has to do the commercial about how he has genital herpes. And that happens to be my husband's favorite episode because
That's his favorite episode.
Yes, between the genital herpes, because he's never watched the whole show with me, but he has seen so much of it that, like, he knows the story.
Yeah.
Everybody. So he loves that one, but what he really loves is when they go on the Japanese game show at the beginning, and the game is called Nutcracker. And if you get the answer
Which is
wrong,
a real thing.
yes, you get smacked in the nuts.
Watched this game in real time living in Japan. Like, that's a real... that actually happens.
It was so good. And then Dr. McSexy MD. And it turns out that Dean knows everything going on Dr. McSexy MD.
Yeah, of course.
We would love to hear what your favorite episodes are. Please feel free to very vocally disagree with any of our opinions in the comments. But please keep it nice and polite.
We're
and don't
sensitive.
attack each other. And we're sensitive. We've only been on YouTube for more than a decade, and we still haven't developed that thick skin we're supposed to.
I have thick skin, but my armor is full of holes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm very sensitive.
Yes.
But we still want to hear everything you have to say about Supernatural because we love it so much. We still want to talk to everybody about all the things.
Absolutely. For each episode, we're going to try to make a playlist. This is a Spotify playlist. This is super easy to do with Supernatural.
Oh, Supernatural, yeah. So, music, Spotify playlist.
And we do have a Patreon. It's not going to be super expensive or anything, and you'll get to see, what does this look like when it has not been edited at all.
Ooh.
So you'll get the behind the scenes. Yeah. Follow us on social medias. There's all our links to all our stuff is somewhere depending
all the
on
places
where you are watching this. We will be all over the place. And then we really hope that you'll tune in next week.
Let us know your fandoms, and maybe we can pick from some of those that everybody suggests. We have
absolutely. Because we have knowledge all those. So many.
So many.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and that's right. I'm supposed to give Liza homework.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Okay.
Yeah, we forgot. So
that we did talk about what maybe
we
next
did talk
week
about
could
that,
be.
but then we forgot about it because it's us. That's why we have to have a multi-page thing because we can otherwise. I don't know what this show.
Yeah.
This podcast would have been like
Animal Crossing notebooks.
Love it. Okay, so as we found out last week, Liza has never watched The Vampire Diaries. Which I wasn't going to say the other thing. I'm going to talk about your other secret shame.
They have to go back and watch that secret shame. Listen, I heard about your secret shame too. We'll bring up in a different episode. Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I didn't watch Vampire Diaries, even though I'm super into vampires. Like so much vampire media I have consumed, but somehow I missed that one because it was right when I was moving overseas and I was pregnant. So I haven't seen it, and so I missed it.
Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Liza.
Yes. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
See everybody on the next one.
See you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.